Here's a key difference, and I don't know. Maybe they link to each other somehow. So now that I'm thinking about it, but white folk, and I speak specifically about them because this is something that I didn't hear talked about growing up in the Hispanic community, is the word generational wealth.
Mm.
That word never crossed my ears growing up, but it's something that I've heard a lot, especially coming from white people. And it's a concept that it's really focused on. And it's
Yeah.
something that I'm focused on at this point now because I'm thinking of the future, and I'm not just thinking about myself. I'm thinking about my children and the people that come after me. But that's not necessarily a notion that I think Hispanics have for the most part. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
And I don't know if maybe this is a stretch, but I think that you know Hispanic culture and I think the Indian culture a bit, and I think most cultures outside of the like Caucasian culture really do. There are generations that live within the same household, where for example, my grandma is living with my parents now. Like that's her retirement. Like she's chilling in her room watching TV, and like her daughter and her husband are hooking her up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm almost wondering that maybe because that's the culture is that my children will take care of me when I'm older, that maybe that notion of building generational wealth, like to financially
Mm.
support other generations to come, is not necessarily something that's thought about as much. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's a good thought. I agree that that's a lot of people's retirement plans is I'm gonna just take care of my kids so they can take care of me. Yeah, that's definitely in our culture. Um, However, it also depends on where you were at in your culture of origin as well. So
Ex-
if you, what's that?
explain.
So if you didn't have much growing up, and again didn't have access to information or ideas that could open up your mind, then that's the level that you'll get to,
Right.
right? Case in point, my wife's grandmother, she literally was sold to a family in Ecuador when she was 12 years old, and that was her reality. Sold into a marriage, that whole, a whole thing, if you think about that in Ecuador. So she came from like the mountains, right, the rural mountains, sold to a family. She was a servant, then was married off to a certain family, certain person. And story has it, she comes over here, and her biggest goal in her whole life was to work and to one day have a house. She got the house, which she still has today, and she's 80 something years old, still working. Like that's her mentality, that she's gonna work until the wheels fall off, right? And there's no talking her out of that in one way, shape, or form. Like if we're gonna take care of her, or her mother is gonna take care of her, we have to make it seem like there's a job somewhere for her, because she's not, because that's just her reality. Again, it's where you come from. Now, my father, again, with I told you my grandfather was put in a over a government city in region, I should say, in DR.
Yep.
So he was able to actually invest into property and build a little bit of wealth. And so that's why they had 8 kids, and they were well off. So my dad was well off, and his family was well off in that city. So he had the idea, well, I'm going to invest in land. So there was a lot of land. But if there's nobody over it, it's the information is gone. So it's more about the information you pass on than the money or the land you pass on, because all those deeds, who knows where the hell they went, where the heck they went at this point. So all that land that they had, nobody knows where the deeds are. And so now nobody has the money. millions of acres, government or whoever took them because he died off. Tragically, he died when my father was 11. Of a condition, I think with diabetes, but that information died off for them, right? And so today they're not the family that they were in their golden years in the 50s or the 40s, right? So it's also the information, not only the money that you pass, but the information you pass along as well. And that's where you see like the Rockefellers, they pass on not only the money, but the information.
Yeah.
And on how to get it and how to maintain it and how to keep it and how to grow it.